Ms. Carrion, do we have anyone on Zoom? Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We are going to get started with Healthy Neighborhoods. Welcome. I'm Vice Mayor Jan Michelle Lemon-Kearney, your chair. My co-chair is President Pro Tem Victoria Parks. Our council members are Anna Albee and Scotty Johnson. We have Monica Winholtz from the Law Department, Gerald Fortson from Department of Community Economic Development, and we have Lisa Carrion from the Clerk of Council Office. And on City Cable, I'm not sure who's out there, but it's probably Steve Sobel, it might be Darius Jones. Thank you to them. We can't see them from here, but we know they're out there working. So today on the agenda for the presentation, we're going to talk to Jonathan Adey from Keep Cincinnati Beautiful. Come on up. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of your work. So this is Don't Dump the Natty Results. Thank you for coming and thank you for all you do. Oh,
they're both off.
There we go.
Now we're good. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you, members of the committee. Keep Cincinnati Beautiful a couple of years ago took a gamble. We have for many years employed deer cameras in the hopes of reducing illegal dumping by catching perpetrators, turning them over to the Hamilton County Environmental Crimes Task Force, working with law enforcement to get some restitution and thereby reduce illegal dumping. Over the years, we've caught between 100 and 200 perpetrators annually, turned those things over, and had seen reduction in dumping throughout Cincinnati by between 15 and 20%. We decided that we were going to try to take a little bit more of a carrot and less of a stick approach over the last couple of years, and so we started the Don't Dump the Natty program with council's funding assistance and encouragement a couple of years ago, with the goal towards helping people to act lawfully rather than trying to punish them for acting unlawfully. This past year, we were able to secure a home through the generous support of the port over on Cherry Street in Northside. And starting in March of this year, the last Friday of every month, except for like when the last Friday is right before Memorial Day or Thanksgiving, we have been taking all City of Cincinnati resident comers to reduce the amount of illegal dumping by providing them with what's basically a mobile refuse site. I'm excited to share the numbers for what we have found. I'm excited to share some of the tweaks that we're looking at to even improve this further as we move through the end of this year and on to the beginning of 2026. See if I can figure this out. So we aggregated the numbers of what we are seeing our residents provide. Prior to this year, we did not have the kind of facility that would make this a true waste diversion event. When we were under the Western Hills Viaduct, we had some DPS trucks on Friday mornings who would come in and just basically take all the trash and remove it, which accounted for one of the two public policies, that being to keep trash and everything else off of hillsides, out of stormwater drains and whatnot. But it wasn't really being a true waste diversion event. And it was our goal to make this not only a reduction in illegal dumping, but also a waste diversion event, and to work with partners to help further their interests as well. So now at our space in Northside, we have a number of stations when residents come in. It is not just bringing trash, although we have upwards of 6 Packer trucks, which are graciously provided by the Department of Public Services. So they're roughly 15 to 18 or so DPS workers who are working a half day on Friday. So there is a a labor cost that is not factored into what our costs are because DPS bears that. But I think that they're gaining a whole lot on the back end because they don't have to remediate so many dump sites. Nevertheless, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. the last Friday of each of these months, residents come in and they bring pretty much everything that is not prohibited, and I'll get to that here in a couple of slides. What you can see from this particular event summary is that we're collecting about 150,000 pounds or so of trash each and every one of these events. So if you aggregate that for the 9 events that we have over the course of the year, we're talking about reducing or collecting about 1.35 million pounds of trash that would otherwise, 1, end up on a hillside, 2, end up on a stormwater drain, or 3, the most optimistic, is that they're calling the city wanting to have these things removed. So it is also reducing the amount of time that it takes from a call into the 311 or the app or whatever until actual collection. So I think it's increasing resident satisfaction for that as well. If you take a look out of that 150 or so thousand pounds, we're still looking at about 89 to 90% of that being what would otherwise be called landfill waste or generalized trash, the stuff that goes into a packer truck. It is my estimation that some of that probably could be recycled. We don't have like any kind of sophisticated Rumpke-like material to do that kind of sorting, but you can see that they are still bringing in recyclables as well. So we're recycling about 1,600 pounds per event. Another thing I'm pretty proud of is a partnership that we have, the Recycle Reuse Hub, whereby we're diverting about 2,500 pounds of e-waste on a monthly basis. And also some of that's the kind of thing that once it gets up to a landfill could spark and also cause some additional kinds of problems. You'll see there's about 6,500 pounds or so of yard waste, which are, because per like square yard or whatever, doesn't take up as, is not as heavy, takes up a disproportionate amount in the landfill, so we're excited about that. And then also, we're pretty excited about the fact that we're collecting 350 or so tires for each one of these events. You may recall that at the beginning of the year, we did a tire amnesty event with partnership with O'Rourke Wrecking, and we had about 850 or so tires collected from that event. So we're looking at collecting about 4,000 tires per year. Given the public health detriments for tires that are in unwanted parts of the community, the breeding ground for mosquitoes and whatnot, we are pretty excited about these particular events as well. I might circle back just a little bit. Last year when we had this event under the viaduct, we also provided a voucher in association with Rumpke for a subsequent visit. So it was like a buy none, get one free kind of event. So a subsequent event, they could take a subsequent load up to Rumpke. We did not receive funding from Rumpke to do that this year and anticipated a loss of some foot traffic. And instead, it's grown by roughly 250%. So I think we'll try to find Rumpke to fund some other things next year. This is kind of what we provide to each one of the stakeholders. We utilize the DPS website, all of our social media channels, all of our partner media channels to get this information out. We also utilize some guerrilla marketing tactics, which is basically going out to all the dump sites that we are aware of and have deer cameras on and putting up these particular yard signs and saying, hey, you don't have to break the law. Instead, you can come and we will help you to act lawfully. One of the issues that we are seeing is that you'll see on the restrictions is for City of Cincinnati residents only. And this actually requires some marketing and education on our part. We get a lot of people who come in and say, see, it says Cincinnati on my driver's license, but it could be Green Township or Norwood or Madeira or any place that is not technically City of Cincinnati. Because they're coming in of their own accord on a Friday, often sitting in lines, particularly if you show up at 9 o'clock in the morning, it kind of looks like going into the Magic Kingdom. So that particular line's 45 minutes to an hour. We're still taking their materials, although we are tracking that. It looks like we have roughly 8 or 9% of what we are collecting are from people who think they're City of Cincinnati residents, but who actually are Hamilton County residents. We are planning on addressing that with the county commissioners here at the end of the year to ask them to participate in this as well, since they are also benefiting greatly from this program. We couldn't do this without DPS. We don't have the trucks, we don't have the infrastructure. We generally have 15 to 20 or so volunteers working these 6 or 7 stations, plus checking people in, but this really runs on the goodwill and the partnership with the Department of Public Services. You can see the kinds of stuff that we do not accept, and it's probably the things you would anticipate: chemicals, wet paint. We do ask anybody who brings in paint cans to make sure that it's less than 1/10 full. Then we'll provide kitty litter or something similar to take away that risk. Oils, CFC, compressed gas canisters, and the like. We do collect a fair amount of furniture. We work with New Life Furniture Bank and other partners to see if these are the kinds of things that they want. All of the e-waste gets sent over to recycle, reuse, how we're trying to make as much of that into usable materials as possible. Obviously the recycling, and then also we work in partnership on the scrap metal side as well, and so we do get some modest benefit from that.
Jonathan, what about electronics like computers and that kind of thing?
Correct.
Is that acceptable or not?
It is. Yep, that's the kind of thing that the e-waste is basically designed for: computers, computer monitors, CPUs, laptops, iPads.
Oh, you take all of that. That's
all those
good.
kinds of things.
And the New Life Furniture, that's the organization that donates furniture to people who are experiencing homelessness.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great.
Other than that, just wanted to provide a couple of visuals. So this location is on Cherry Street and North Side. We'll probably, when we start the event in the morning, have about 5 or 6 blocks of traffic that have basically ground to a standstill. We appreciate the work that Cincinnati Police Department does to provide us with some traffic control. But it is a significant disruption to some of that north side traffic. We have had one business owner who has complained to us about traffic outside of her business, and my response is, well, you should put up some signs, because you're never going to get this kind of traffic that you're getting in this particular day over the course of a year. So rather than complaining, you might want to have a sale. You can see our staff kind of working the line, kind of going through all of those. This is our partnership with the DPS Packers. They're great. We provide them lunch, and they're excited that basically the trash comes to them rather than having to remediate that off of some less safe conditions.
So people just pull up in their cars or trucks, and our Department of Public Services folks and any other volunteers just unload it? So you don't even have to get out your car?
Yeah, we ask them to unload as much as they can. So we are there to direct them. Our packers, once it's unloaded from their vehicle, put it into the packer truck. We don't want to incur any of that kind of liability. They're unloading like tires, and we're throwing them in the dumpsters or whatever. It's it's a fair amount of strain for an old guy like me, but our volunteers take to it pretty well.
Oh, you're up to it. Okay.
You can see this is kind of what we do for the tires on a monthly basis. Rumpke does take this material, coordinates with a couple of providers to provide, playground, ground equipment. So they work with a lot of the public schools in the area to transform these tires once they've been scrubbed in order to reduce themselves of any unwanted contaminants. You can kind of see how the whole process works. I have been super pleased with the ability of Cincinnati residents to maneuver their trucks and vehicles around this parking lot and get it to the right place without playing bumper cars. We've had no incidents to date, knock on wood. But you can see how the resident pulls up to the location. They're getting their stuff out from start to finish. When there's no line, it's less than 5 minutes. For people who come and want to be the first onto the roller coaster, so to speak, then they have to wait in line for a little while, but it's still, it's pretty good for the residents. You know, at the end of the day, it would be great if there was a centralized refuse center in the city. I understand all the NIMBYism around that, and everybody thinks it's a good idea. Nobody wants to have it at their place. This has been a really effective, efficient way to deal with this, short of a major investment. We were happy to receive some funding from the Office of Environmental Sustainability this year to help us out with this project. That part, we're getting $79,000. The whole project for us is costing less than $150,000, and to be able to remove $1.35 million for $150,000 or less with its attendant goodwill has been a really good investment for us. Looking to the future, we would like to be able to do this twice a month rather than once a month. We think that this would further reduce the amount of time that people are waiting for set-outs and calling 311 or using the app. We'd also be able to, probably with some county investment, be able to open it up to more county residents, just because it's been so successful. You know, there's still dump sites around. We have not eliminated illegal dumping. We think that we have reduced it quite a bit. We've provided incentives for people to act lawfully. And our next go around, we're looking at trying to do this with some other issues facing the city, most specifically graffiti. So we are working with UC and a couple of their projects through both the business school and also DAP to provide some kind of very efficient, rapid response kind of way to reduce the cost to taxpayers, reduce the headache to taxpayers on both private and public lot graffiti. So that's probably our next big programmatic initiative within the next year to try to reduce costs and to increase beautification so we can be the cleanest city in the United States.
You know, the graffiti issue keeps coming up, and we have to explain that the city doesn't clean up graffiti on private sites. So I love the fact that you're coming up with a plan that would help private landowners, because, I mean, it's expensive. And so that would be really helpful for us.
Yeah, it's expensive, and it's also really an attractive nuisance. So if there isn't a rapid response, then the graffiti taggers, like, cool, I get to apply my art and nobody's going to take it away really quick. So it's our goal to come up with a solution whereby we have like quick access to the DPS system and understand Office of Performance Data Analytics, so we could be a way to get to that graffiti within, you know, at least within 12 to 24 hours. And it's our experience with the taggers that we know that once you don't let their artwork stay up for very long, they find a new place to go.
Okay. And I love the tire issue, because, I mean, the fact that you're addressing the tire issue, because, I don't know, looking at a lot of the dump sites slope down on a hill throughout the city, and I haven't been recently, so I need to go back and look, but tires and mattresses and pieces of cars seem to be like the big items that were there, and just hard to clean up. They're too much for residents to do. So
yeah,
the city would
particularly
do
the
it, but it would
tires,
cost a
and
lot.
tires tend to cluster. So when we had the tire amnesty event, you know, in Hamilton County, you can't convey more than 10 tires at a time without a particular permit. But there would be people who would come back 6 and 7 times saying that, yeah, there's like a tire version of an elephant graveyard out here, and we've just removed, you know, 50 to 70 tires. So that's been quite an issue for us. And, you know, there's the health concerns, plus they take up so much room. So it's the kind of dumping that's a lot more unsightly than probably some of the other things. Although, you know, on some of the streets that we remediate and monitor, we found upright pianos and boats and things like that that have been left. So
Crazy.
it's always entertaining.
Are the tires recyclable? Do we recycle the tires, or do they go?
So what happens with the tires is there's a separate DPS truck from all the other Packer trucks that takes those.
Yeah.
Rumpke recycles those in the contract that they have to produce playground equipment.
Oh, okay.
Or the spongy stuff underneath
Right.
the monkey bars that we
Yeah.
didn't have when we were kids.
Right. We just had to fall and break things. Okay. That's
I learned by concussion.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Well, this is really good information. So let me turn it over to my colleagues. Any comments or questions?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Parks.
Thank you for doing this, Jonathan. It's really creative, and it solves the problem. I was taking notes, and what I really appreciate is the way that you guys turned the program around. Instead of arresting 100 to 200 perps, you provided incentive to behave lawfully. That's meaningful,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you collect 4,000 tires a year. That's significant. What I'm excited about is I'm sure that you will find a good partnership over at the county, that the commissioners will be happy to work with you on this, and we can expand it.
I will let you know. I think that we will. It's been something that the county has leaned into with the Environmental Crimes Task Force. And we're not saying that we're not going to catch bad guys anymore, but we want to give them every opportunity to act lawfully. And if they insist on avoiding this free opportunity and instead dumping stuff on the side of a hill, then we'll chase them down anyway.
So now, are we? And I like what President Pro Tem Parks is saying. But are we still checking with the camera, checking the license plates for illegal dumpers? And we're
Correct.
Still,
yeah, and we actually the amount of folks that we are catching this year hasn't gone down precipitously. It's probably going to be within 125 to 150. But then, we're surveying them too. It's like, were you not aware of this program? Why are you not participating in this program? And still what you find is that a number of folks who do dump within city limits are not city residents. People, with a construction subcontract, they happen to be within the city, but they're out in Aurora, Indiana, or Mainville, Ohio, or whatever. We have not really addressed that particular issue, at least from a carrot side of the equation.
Jonathan, how do you disseminate the information?
Through social media, through our Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn channels, through the Department of Public Services social media. We work with Courtney Hauser at DPS to deliver through those. We've been on channels 9 and 19 with this particular program this year. I think 5 is coming out to our Halloween event, so stop by. I might be dressed up as I'm collecting people's tires.
Event.
yeah, tell us about the Halloween event.
What's up with that?
Well, it just happens to be last Friday of the month. So we are going to have our Don't Dump the Natty event. All of our staff and volunteers will be dressed up. We might have some tricks and treats up our sleeve to incentivize people coming in. I usually do traffic control because I don't like lifting the really heavy stuff, so I thought maybe I would be a stormtrooper since I kind of need one of those lightsabers anyway out at the beginning.
Good idea.
So we'll see.
Okay. All right.
And did you say that this costs $50,000 a year or $500,000?
So our program cost is going to be about $150,000, and it's for we have contracts with Rumpke, we have some other kinds of contracts, but then it's also our staff time. So we have one coordinator, but then this is kind of an all hands on deck event for us, at least for one day a month, sometimes for two in terms of the planning and cleanup. So it's about, in terms of all those costs put together, it's about 145, and so we get $79,000 in partnership from the Office of Environmental Sustainability. And quite frankly, it's the kind of thing that we need to continue to address with corporate sponsorships. We had O'Rourke sponsor one of our events. We're working with Rumpke to sponsor some of our events, kind of in conjunction with what we're trying to do on a capital basis as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Albee.
Yeah, thank you so much. You're so fluent in all the numbers. I couldn't keep up with all the stats, but it's truly remarkable, the work you're doing. I want to reinforce what the Vice Mayor said about the graffiti. I think that's very exciting. Please keep us posted as you work on that because we get a lot of complaints.
Sure.
We had one person come into public comment and ask if she could just go paint on people's property over graffiti. And we had to explain, no, please do not.
Not without their permission.
Yeah, we're like, please do not trespass to paint someone else's property. So yes, please keep us posted on that. And then I just wanted to give a shout out also to the team around the work you all are doing with Act for Cincy and the beautification, and the Weston and OTR. Alistair and others have been truly remarkable and great to work with. So thank you for the team's work on that end too.
Thank you, and Alta Fiber was also very helpful with our work in the West End. They did an event with us just a few weeks ago, and it was 500 employees descending, and 500 Alta Fiber employees can do a lot of work within a day.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Councilmember Johnson.
I just want to echo what's already been said. Thanks a million. Thanks a lot for your dedication to this city. There's no way that we could be the city, despite what people see. You know, Cincinnati is still one of the cleanest major cities in the country. Go to some other cities and you wouldn't believe what you see. But thank you for what you do and your team to continuously to keep Cincinnati beautiful.
Thank you. That means a lot. We're excited to work with all of you, and I think I've mentioned before, I come from a background that's more in the social services arena, running like childhood behavioral health and homelessness programs and things like that. And it's great to be able to embrace positivity and try to make things better when your highest goal is hoping that somebody hasn't tried to commit suicide or overdose during the course of a day. It's really great to just be able to embrace positivity, so we appreciate the opportunity.
That's great. So this is Don't Dump the Natty. Are we still doing Don't Trash the Natty?
We're still not trashing the Natty, and
Okay.
we're still doing the Adopt a Spot that we're trying to make Cincinnati the cleanest city in the
How's that
United
going?
States,
How's the
one block
Adopt
at
a
a time.
Spot? I love that. How's that
We're about
going?
275 in so far. We just finished the kind of the R&D on a project with the Cincinnati Sea Change cohort to develop a new business district model. So we are launching that in the neighborhoods of Walnut Hills, Coreyville, and Westwood to try to get various small businesses, restaurants, and whatnot to take care of their locations. Also excited about a partnership that we have with Metro. They are adopting spots along at their bus stops, which have really proliferated with trash ever since CPS started having their students riding the Metro. And we're also coordinating that with our education and youth programs, whereby a number of fourth grade students are adopting spots around their facilities.
Oh, okay.
And kind of partnering with CRC to do some of that around the Cincinnati Recreation Commission installations in conjunction with our Tree the CRC program to try to increase tree canopy with the Cincinnati Recreation Commission. We feel as though, it's not like official, but we try to be for CRC what the Parks Foundation is for parks and to provide them with all the support to reduce their capital outlay as well. And it provides a great opportunity for volunteers.
Well, great. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Well, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. Good. It's a good report, uplifting news, and we'll see you Halloween. We can bring anything. I mean, except those things prohibited, but like all of recyclable
That's correct.
stuff
Yeah.
we can bring. And okay.
Yeah, come see the work. Come bring your stuff.
Okay.
And we'll see you on Halloween.
Okay. 9 to 1. Was it 2939 Cherry Street? Let's get the right address.
That's correct.
3929, I had it reversed. 3929 Cherry Street in Northside, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we will, without objection, we will file the presentation that we just saw so the public can have it. Hearing none, we will file it. Any final comments? Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.